Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the inaugural episode. We are so excited to have the Garrett Wood Show for you this evening, episode 1, right here on the Rebel Walk. Garrett, first of all, man, thanks so much for coming on with us this season. We are really excited about this show, and I know the people that follow you and follow us are as well. First thing, I've got to start the show with this because it's been one of the more exciting things about the Ole Miss social media accounts this year. I think you probably know where I'm going with this, but you guys came out with a pretty creative video to start this season in which you are featured, and I'm going to just show this a little bit right quick for the people. You guys might recognize this guy. So, Garrett, first of all, great dancing, great moves. There's Peyton, of course, but I won't keep that going too long. But how did this come about, man? I'm real curious. The social media team at Ole Miss is always rocking. But how did you guys come up with this and kind of what went into that?
Yeah, the social media team is really good. So believe it or not, Peyton Chatnier, one of my best friends here, my roommate, is really big with the social media stuff, big into all that. And I guess before Christmas break, the marketing team asked him, hey, we want to film this video for when we hit home runs in the spring. Will you, Garrett, and TJ McCants do it? And of course he said, yeah, without even asking us, like we have no problem doing stuff like that. We love it. Well, it comes around to the spring, like, a week before the season, and Peyton comes up to me and he's like, hey, man, we got this video to make on Tuesday. I hope you can do it and stuff. I'm like, yeah, of course. What is it? And he shows me this video. I'm like, dude, how are we going to learn how to do this? Like, I don't know how to dance like this. Come on. Like, what is this? And then TJ McCants was in it with us and happened to bail on us the day it happened. He wasn't nervous. He had something to do. So we picked up Reagan Burford. But yeah, we went over to the pavilion at the basketball gym. Took us about 2.5 hours. It was really fun. My girlfriend helped choreographic and work. There was a lot of people behind the scenes. It was a good time.
Well, obviously, Merrick and the whole team over there are fantastic. They do a great job putting that stuff together. And that video's got to be one of the most viewed from the Ole Miss Twitter account ever. And, of course, it just keeps getting replayed because you guys have hit a ton of home runs this season already. But kind of going back to the beginning of the season, Garrett, obviously the exit of Tim Elko, who was one of the fan favorites last year and the captain last year. This year, you have had the honor of being named team captain. And not only that, but if I'm not mistaken, the only team captain on the team this year. Talk about that and what that means to you and how excited you were for that to happen.
Yeah, I think it means a lot. And I think it's a pretty big role from the outside. It seems like, it's a cool thing and he does a lot of different things and all this stuff. But really, speaking with Tim, once I was elected team captain from this year's team, which I'm super appreciative of and take pride in, Tim told me, and, we had some talks about it. And he said, you were elected team captain for the person you are, for the person you've been since you stepped on campus in the fall of 2021. So there's no reason to change, so sure, I have the title of team captain, which is amazing. But there's a lot of other captains on this team also that, they don't get to wear that C, but they take just as much pride in being a leader and do just as much as I do. I just have the privilege of wearing it. But I just try to show up to the field and, be the same person every single day that I've been since I've showed up on campus. So nothing's really changed for me personally. From the outside, I'm sure it looks like it, like Wood's the captain, all this stuff. But really, I'm just the same person every day and, try to be the best that I can and don't really change much of who I am with that C on my chest.
Well, you mentioned it, Tim telling you about the person you are. And last year, it was so evident. The kind of teammate that you are really is evident in how you play, but not only how you play, how you are in the dugout and how you are around your teammates. Just your attitude about the whole thing. We are in an age of NIL and transfer portal, and it's crazy how much or how overblown it's gotten, so to speak, in just the stories about it and the amount of players that enter the portal every year and things of that nature. Whereas you stuck around even though you weren't necessarily a starter for most of the year last year, and your attitude really showed just a positivity. And multiple of your teammates told me when I interviewed them about what a great teammate you are. Just talk about your attitude and what it means to you just to be there for your team, even if you're not on the field playing.
Yeah, I think that's something that I truly take pride in deep down. Is really important to me. And, my family has raised me to be that way. But not everyone's given this opportunity, man. There's a lot of kids out there and people that dream of playing college baseball or even dream of being able to play the game of baseball and simply aren't able to, whether that's for health reasons or, not talented enough, whatever that may be. But to get to play for the 2022, College World Series national champions, to be a part of that team, to be in that dugout, to be on the field, I think it's really important. And I try not to take anything for granted. I try to show up every day, never knowing when it could be your last day playing the game. So I'm just really grateful for the opportunity, God has blessed me with, and just trying to run with it, man. See how far it'll take me.
Well, that's a great attitude to have. You came up with one of the bigger hits in the postseason last year at Southern Miss with that run scoring double when you guys swept Southern Miss down there. That was a fun series. It was blazing hot. I don't know how it was on the field, but I can't imagine it was pleasant down there. But you guys did a great job. But going back to that season, obviously you mentioned the national championship. It was obviously a huge story. Now this year you guys have kind of put it behind you and focusing on winning games now. Right. But just from your perspective, we've heard about it from obviously all the big names last year. We've heard it over and over from Tim, from Hayden, from Brandon Johnson, from Peyton, from all those guys who were a big part of that team. But for somebody like you mentioned how great it was to be part of that team. But just what was it like for you on that entire journey to winning a national championship?
It was crazy. I'm always excited for my opportunity, and being a role player is, tough at times. But it's really important at the same time because you never know, when your name's going to be called or your number. And mine happened to be called at one of the most important times of the season, which was awesome. And I think staying locked in throughout the whole season, gave me the opportunity to be successful throughout the postseason. But that's what was so cool about our team, man. Like, it didn't matter if, if someone got hurt, it's next man up. If someone's out, next guy up. And we were so good and so close as a team that everyone was so excited and, just laid everything out between those lines, which I think is what helped us lead to, winning a national championship was just the leadership of Tim Elko, of course, and just the way the camaraderie of the team was and how everyone loved and, played for each other.
Now, you mentioned Tim Elko, and obviously the phrase "don't let the Rebs get hot" was very prevalent throughout that whole run. He kind of came up with that, I guess, with that little blurb that he kind of gave to the camera there. Yeah. Just how did that really get going with you guys? And when you guys were going through that really tough spell where you were 7-14 in conference play and everybody was counting you out and, Ole Miss has no chance to make the postseason, Mike Bianco's getting fired, all the noise from the outside that you guys were dealing with. What was it like as inside without, obviously, I don't want you to go into details about what you guys said privately. I'm not asking you for that, right. But just how did you guys stay focused? Don't let the Rebs get hot became a fun, big thing. Just within that dugout, from what you can tell us, just what was that like?
Yeah. Starting with our coaching staff, with Coach B, Coach Clem, Coach Laff, Coach Cleary, everyone involved, they did a really good job of showing up to the field every day, being the same person. So there was no panic or anything going around on the facility when we showed up to practice. Everyone was still the same. We knew we were good was the thing. We weren't playing good, or we would play good and still lose. So that wasn't the issue. We just had to find a way to put it all together. So I think with the leadership that we had and the coaching staff, they helped us all, stay together, stay who we were. I remember driving back from Arkansas after a tough weekend, man. We played really well on the road, dropped 2 out of 3. It was a tough one, and that's what put us at 7-14, which is kind of when all the news started going. The Rebs aren't going to make it, too far back, all this stuff. I want to say it was Ben Van Cleve, if I'm mistaken, sent a group in our message like, hey, man, we got 9 more SEC games. If we win 7-9, we're in a regional. If you can go 14-16 with our RPI, strength of schedule, all that stuff, we're going to get in based off the last couple of years. So all we got to do is win 7-9 of our next 9 games. Who cares about what's happened? Who cares about anything? Let's just win 1 game at a time and win 7 of our 9. So we played Mizzou at home that upcoming weekend, which has happened. We swept 3 big wins. That's when Tim Elko, I believe, said, don't let the rest after that game against Missouri. So that's when it all started. And then we just kind of ran with it 1 game at a time and started playing really good when it mattered the most.
Yeah, and it's all about which team gets hot at the end of the year. And then you guys, after that Missouri series, came the real test. You went to LSU, Alex Box Stadium, where Ole Miss had not won a series in a very long time, if ever. I'm blanking on the stat all of a sudden, but you know what that is. It's hard to win at Alex Box, and Ole Miss had not won there series-wise very frequently. It's a tough place to play. You guys needed it, and not only did you go down there and have to play there, then you had the weather. So you start a game on Friday night, then you have to postpone that game, finish that game on Saturday, and then play another game on Saturday, and then also play the game on Sunday. The mentality going into that weekend, what was that like? And then you guys just started really putting it together. Were you guys thinking about any of that at all, or were you just focused on your team and, hey, it's just another game, let's go win it?
I think we did a really good job of blocking out the outside noise. I know we disappointed a lot of our fans throughout the season, and we apologize for it. We couldn't win at home, but on the road it was kind of different. It was just us, our 40 guys in the dugout against the world. We didn't care about anything else, anyone else. Going into Alex Box, man, that place is awesome. But knowing what was on the line, like, we got to win. Like, we have no option. We either win or our season's going to be cut short, unfortunately. And Dylan DeLucia steps out there on Friday night, man, and it's giving us the best shot he can. Then the rain comes, and then Dylan DeLucia shows back up on Saturday, starts the game again. And I think that just showed how important, he was to our team and our pitching staff that performed late in the postseason. But it was just that mentality, that he could start on Friday, warm up, throw 40, 50 pitches, and then realize, all right, I'm going to go get some sleep, wake up the next morning, I'm going to start again. That's just the mentality the team had. We're going to lay everything on the line for each other, and we're not going to let this season get cut short by any means.
Dylan had a rubber arm. I cannot recall the last time I saw a pitcher that could just go like him. I mean, he had the amazing games, 2 games at LSU, as you mentioned. He had the game of a lifetime in Omaha with that 1-hitter or 2-hitter it was that he played the complete game where you guys needed that win. And then, of course, he was ready to come back for the final. I mean, he was ready to go. So Dylan was great. I know he was really good for you guys down the stretch. But then so backing up a little bit, because we were kind of going in progression there. You guys win at LSU. You finish out the series strong. You go to Hoover. Rain delays, which are very common in Hoover, happen. And then you have that go down, and then you lose to Vanderbilt in game 1 in a tough, hard-fought contest. Talk about the mindset there after you lose to Vandy. Everybody seemed kind of down in the dumps. How were things after that? How are you guys feeling about your chances at that point?
I think that was a really tough week, and there were some sick feelings in some people's stomachs throughout that week because, we leave Hoover, Alabama, drive back to Oxford, and we have no idea if we're going to be in the postseason or not. We don't know what's to come, which means we got to practice. So we're showing up to the field every day, practicing inter-squad Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Maybe the selection show was on Monday, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure. But we had to go through a whole week of practice and inter-squads, not knowing. I mean, our season could be over, and we're just practicing, for no reason. Some of these guys will never get to play the game of baseball again. So that was a really tough week. And, throughout practice and, we just try to stay in our dugout, try to stick together as a team and get in there and get after it. And we knew if we were given a chance, we were going to be able to run with it. But we didn't know what that chance would be. I really had no idea. I was pretty nervous and wasn't sure even going into there that morning of try to read the room with the coaching staff, because typically they find out a little bit before. And it was hard, man. We had no idea. I remember texting Peyton saying, hey, I don't think we made it. It was a little scary. But once we saw our name pop up, it was one of the best feelings. And then it was time to get to work. We practiced right after that meeting. So it was awesome.
I remember the video of Coach Bianco saying, we've got practice today. And you guys all went crazy. It sounds like they hit it well. If they did know that you guys had made it, they hit it really well. The rumors were kind of flowing like they always do on social media that you guys might have made that Miami Regional. Nobody was really reporting it for sure because the only people that probably knew were your coaches. Right. When you guys saw your name pop up, but then not only your name pop up, but a rematch with Arizona right off the bat, who after that 2021 team was so good and you guys made it so far, and then you go to Arizona. That's just a tough place to play. That offense was lethal out there, and that park was just really set up for them and their offense that season. Right. So did you guys think about that at all as far as we got a chance at Arizona, or were you more just focused on let's go win the regional, we don't care who's in it?
I think when we first got, our name announced, I'm not even sure if you asked half the team, hey, who are you guys playing in the regional? I don't know if anyone would have been able to answer that question. Everyone was just so fired up that we made it. We didn't even know who we were playing. We knew we were going to Miami, but I didn't even know who was in the regional at the time. Then once finding out Arizona, of course you have a little chip on your shoulder. Those guys ended our season, and we sat there on that field and watched them celebrate knowing they were going to Omaha. And that's a tough thing to swallow and sit there and watch. So of course that chip's always there. But at the end of the day, man, we didn't really care who we were playing. It's not really about that to us. There's no revenge or any of that. Like, we're there to win for each other and, win for this university and baseball program. So, I think it was cool, that we were given that opportunity. At the end of the day, I don't think we really cared too much about who we were playing.
Well, and it didn't matter. You guys went on one of the best postseason runs in the world at that point. You only lost one game in the postseason from then on, and it came to Arkansas and Omaha in a non-elimination game. And then you guys bounced right back and beat them again and moved on to sweep the championship series against a really good Oklahoma team. And the rest is history, of course. First national championship for Ole Miss baseball. I know that's got to be so special to be a part of that and to be that team that got the first title for Ole Miss and for Coach Bianco. And I really wanted to ask you, you've been around Coach Bianco for a while now. You came from junior college. You transferred in. Obviously, Ben Van Cleve was a junior college product. Hayden Leatherwood was a junior college product. I actually had the pleasure of watching both of them at Northwest when they played there. So, first of all, let's go to Coach Bianco and just how was your recruitment to Ole Miss and what first made you really feel like that was the place for you?
I think my recruitment was a little bit different, than a lot of people just because I was out in Kansas, not very close here to Mississippi. But a lot of emails were sent out. Our coaching staff at Johnson County did a really good job of getting your name out there. And some emails were sent out, got some responses. And Coach Clement was supposed to fly out to come watch me play. Something happened with weather, a delay, something wasn't able to make it. So then I had the opportunity to come up here for a little camp and do a workout. Came here, did that, toured the facilities, everything like that, met with the coaching staff. And then pulling out of that parking lot, I think that was, it was an automatic decision after you come to Oxford, you see Swayze Field and everything that comes along with it. I think it's a hard no. I don't think you can really say no if you're given the opportunity. So that's kind of how it was with the coaching staff here.
Well, and Coach Bianco, obviously, he took a lot of heat from the outside, from the noise on social media, even from the fans in the stands at times. It was a rough a year for him in 2021. Obviously, the 2020 season got cut short by COVID. He had made it to Omaha once before in 2014. So I know that was a lot of pressure on him. But from a perspective of him as a leader and him as a coach, for you and for your teammates, you guys did a great job of tuning all that out. We've talked about that, but just tell me about your thoughts of Coach Bianco and what he means to you.
This program isn't what it is without him. He's the reason that Ole Miss baseball is on the map as one of the best programs in college baseball, and it has been consistently over the last 20 years since he's been here. He's really impressive. He shows up to the field every day, being the same person, and he's there to work. He also does a really good job of, letting us know to block out outside noise. And, we have the term stay in our dugout, which is really important to us because, like you said, the outsiders and social media, it can get crazy. You can get some crazy things said to you, sent to you. Your DMs get blown up, with some bad stuff. And that's part of it. It makes it fun and all that stuff. But he does a really good job of letting you block that out. So I'm sure he knew what was the talk of the town was going on throughout that run. But I think he blocked it out for the most part and did a really good job with it. And man, he didn't deserve that. Whether we won the national championship or not, he didn't deserve what people were saying was going to happen. Who knows if it would have? But this program isn't what it is without him. So of course, winning the national championship was awesome for us and, for him. But at the end of the day, he wasn't the one making pitches, making plays, taking at bats. And I think that's the hard thing for outsiders to realize. He was doing the best he could to put the best 9 guys on the field to be successful. And then from there, there's not a whole lot he can do. He prepares us well, puts us in opportunities to be successful. And then from there on, it's kind of on our end. So it was really awesome to win one, for this program, for him, and for this university.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, as you mentioned, we take sports so seriously, especially as fans. And I can't imagine what the pressure of being a player is. I never was a college athlete, so I've never been in your shoes. So I know that the amount of hate mail, for lack of a better term, that comes in probably gets overwhelming sometimes, and people take it so very seriously. But and the mental health toll that you guys deal with on top of just playing, I'm sure that's tough. You guys just do an admirable job, and I've always had the utmost respect for Coach B and just the way that he handles himself. But what I've noticed this year, and I'm curious if you agree with me, He won the championship last year. You guys all won it. I have noticed a little bit of a looseness from Coach Bianco that I've never really seen before. Maybe I'm imagining that, but obviously that's a lot of pressure off of him. I'm just curious, has he changed at all in your eyes as a player? I know he's the same guy as a coach. Obviously, he's still a great coach. You guys have a job to do. But has that helped him kind of, I guess, loosen up, and you can kind of visibly see that pressure come off of him a little bit?
I think that's hard for me to answer and understand. But I don't think he really feels pressure or, is worried about things like that. I don't think he's really changed, if I'm being honest with you, from my perspective. It may seem like that from the outside, and, you guys see him from a different way than I do. So it's hard to tell. But I don't think a lot has changed. And I think, just because we won a national championship, I don't think he's, satisfied. Like, that was really cool. That was cool for us. But it's our time to win another one with this team, with him as the coach, with these new players. So I don't think there's any, weight lifted off his shoulders. I'm sure it felt good, but he didn't come here just to win one national championship, like he's here to win as many as he can. So
that's a great answer. I really do appreciate that answer. I mean, good. That's a very honest perspective. And again, you're right. We do see things from a different perspective. And I try to be a member of the media, and it's sometimes I try to be professional, but also try to see things in a way where you guys are just, you're kids, you're human beings, you're out here having a good time playing a game. And I want to keep this as fun and lighthearted as possible. And I really enjoy how you guys have a lot of fun, but you also, you're the business approach that you guys have to the game, which I really saw last year in the postseason, which I believe was really crucial for you guys winning. It's a great balance that y'all have. It keeps it loose. It keeps it fun. And just watching your body language, you can definitely tell that you guys have a great group. And I'm excited to keep watching you this season. So I don't want to take up too much of your time, man. For episode 1, I feel like this was great. You guys had a great start to the season already. A very interesting setup this past weekend in Minnesota with that football field. I'm sure that was very interesting playing up there. But you guys get the sweep there, and now you've got another Big Ten foe coming in this weekend with Purdue. A good game last night against Southern Miss. So I know you guys are excited to keep going. But we really appreciate you, man, taking the time to get with us. And we're excited about continuing these. It's going to be a fun season. We're looking forward to it.
Oh, yeah, man. I really can't wait. I got to give one, special shout out to Right Track Medical Group for giving me the opportunity to pair with mental health and try to help those around me. So if you or anyone struggling, with mental health, make sure you reach out to them. But I really appreciate you guys having me on, man. I can't wait to do this all season. We got a really special group and special team going right now. Some new faces that people are going to get to know really quick, and it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, and I don't want people to overlook that, what you said about the mental health. That's a very important thing. I know that I've been injured severely, and I've dealt with that myself. I know you guys deal with it as college athletes. People don't see that all the time, but that's a very important thing. So I really appreciate you being partnered with them and bringing that up. That's an awesome thing that I don't want people to overlook. But Garrett, best of luck to you guys this weekend against Purdue. I will not be able to make it to that series this weekend due to some other things going on with family. But I will be watching as much as I can. But I'm wishing you guys the best of luck. And thanks so much for your time tonight. And we'll get with you for the next episode.
Yes, sir. Sounds good. I appreciate you.
All right, man. Have a good night, buddy.
You too.
And he is Garrett Wood. We really appreciate him coming on with us this year. And we really appreciate Dead Soxy for sponsoring us and for sponsoring this show. You guys, I don't know if you missed this announcement or not, but while supplies last, you can grab a free pair of limited edition Juice Kiffin socks when you become a Dead Soxy Plus member. By joining the subscription, you'll also get 25% off and free shipping on all purchases site-wide. Plus, each month, you're going to receive a brand new Ole Miss sock co-signed by your favorite players, and they get 50% of the profits. To get your free socks, add socks from Dead Soxy's Ole Miss NIL subscription to your cart, and your free pair will automatically appear, and there are no membership fees ever. So you guys be sure and go check that out at deadsoxy.com. And on all your purchases, use the code REBELWALK for 25% off. We really thank Garrett so much for taking the time out of this season, and we appreciate Coach Bianco for allowing him to do this with us as well. On his nights off. We really appreciate that. And we will talk to you guys and talk to Garrett next time. You've been watching the Garrett Wood Show. Hotty toddy and have a great night.